As you expanded globally and you start to think about where you're going to expand, I mean, it's a very, very diverse portfolio. You're saying everywhere from Africa to the North Sea. How do you identify those locations, and then what makes you seize upon a deal or a specific concession?
Well, to begin with, our business is extremely diversified. We're into oilfield services, we are into oil exploration, we're into mining, we are into biotechnology in India, we are into trading in South Africa, we are in the North Sea in oil exploration, but we also have service companies. We're in cybersecurity in the UK. Initially, it was driven by opportunistic. I mean, you'd see the opportunity and you go in. In later years, you realize that running your business on an opportunistic way is not the way. You should really be a little bit more careful. As a result of that, we've ended up with a lot of diverse businesses. Some of them do well, some of them don't do so well. At one time, I had businesses all the way from Scotland to New Zealand. I mean, you know, I sold the business in Australia and New Zealand, but that's the way. I mean, it's one of those things. As an entrepreneur, you're always driven by opportunities.
Where was the first place outside of Oman that you moved to?
China and Indonesia. We had a manager working for me here who had a lot of experience. He was actually working in China and in Indonesia, and he told me, look, the opportunities where we can acquire a small international company, but they're selling a division they don't need. It's oilfield services, and it's in China and Indonesia. We acquired the business. This is even before China was opening up. And in China, we did very well. And in Indonesia, we had a lot of problems because Indonesia at the time was going through a lot of changes in the administration, in the government itself. This was during Suharto's time. And then there were a lot of disturbance towards the end of his term, and there was almost like a local revolution. So we ended up losing heavily in Indonesia. And but from what we learned in Indonesia and China, we imported into Oman. That's where technology transfer was. So we managed to do those services in Oman, and then later on we took them outside Oman. And until today, we have the same services, kind of. And so that acquisition also, we lost out in Indonesia, and eventually we sold China, but we benefited in learning the skills and even bringing some of the management here.
And then where next after that?
Next was a very good acquisition. We did an acquisition in Hungary. At the time, Hungary was just opening up, and the government was privatizing oilfield service companies. And we acquired a company for a small amount of money. I think we paid something like $4 million. But the equipment they had was worth $40 million. And it was a company that the government wanted to privatize. Unfortunately, it employed 1,000 people. So I was stuck with 1,000 people. And it's not so easy to lay off people and, you know, sort of downsize the company to an optimal size. But over the years, we managed to do that. But the equipment that we acquired there was a treasure trove, because that equipment we moved to Oman, we moved to Syria at the time we were working. We operated in Austria. So it was a company which was the government privatized, just they wanted to get rid of it, but it was far more worth it than what we paid for it.